Good afternoon, folks, and thanks for joining us. My name is Tim Wheaton with MMA Sucka, and I'm so excited for our guest today. She is the GLORY Super Bantamweight Champion, Tiffany Timebomb van Soest. How are you doing today?
Fantastic. How are you?
Oh, hanging out, the usual stuff. You got some big fights coming up. March 19th, GLORY 80. You will be fighting the RISE champion, Manazo Kobayashi. Tell us, coming into this fight, how's training looking? What's the game plan? All that good stuff.
Yeah, and super excited to be back in action after another year off. And against it's cool they're doing champ versus champ, that's exciting. Earlier, last year when I was discussing things with GLORY about what my future plans were, what I wanted to do, the division was kind of empty. And, I was like, I want to fight the best from other promotions and prove who really is the best of the best. So, we made that happen. It's happening. And training's been going well. I got to go back to California, spend some time with family and stuff. And so I was getting some really good training in there, sparring with a lot of good girls. And that was just kind of the beginning. And I got the news of the fight while I was still there. So, of course, I cranked up my training a little bit. I got back here to Amsterdam yesterday morning, bright and early, went straight to the gym, got 2 sessions in, got some in today already. You're catching me in between going back tonight. But I mean, I'm just happy to be back in training camp again. I finished a training session about 3 weeks ago, and I remember specifically saying to one of the girls I was training with, man, it's just been so long. I'm ready to be in training camp again. I'm ready for a fight. And then a few days later, I got the call, and I was like, wow, I really spoke that into existence.
It's amazing. This is a part of the GLORY Rivals series where GLORY is having their champions fight champions from other organizations, and she's the champion in RISE. But you have been in combat sports and karate since you were 8 years old, and you're saying you're relieved to be back in the gym. Does the gym feel like home to you at this point?
It does. It really does. And I found it funny to hear myself saying I just want to be in training camp again, because nobody wants to be in training camp. It's difficult, but I've shifted my mindset a lot. I've had a couple of really good training camps that didn't feel like torture or like a burden to go through. And so just like keeping the framework from those camps and then building upon that, and just with the opportunity and to have a fight and to be here in Amsterdam training with Lucian Carbin full time. It's like, yeah, I want to be in camp because I want to fight and show, everything I've been working on. I want to put it together. And I also feel like I'll be 33 in March. My birthday's the day after the fight, actually.
Well, happy birthday. This is so exciting.
Yeah. So, I feel like athletically I'm in my prime as a woman, and I just want to do the damn thing while I still can, because I know fighting's not forever. So I want to really just make it count while I still can.
Oh, absolutely. And fighting as a woman comes with more obstacles than other people. Fighting is a hard sport generally, but what advice would you give to other women who are looking to start in combat sports and kickboxing? What hurdles can they expect? And then what did you do to overcome these hurdles?
I mean, just as a woman and physically, menstruation and periods always make things pretty complicated. When I'll be in the gym doing my rounds and have to take a round off to just like sit in the fetal position while the cramps pass, things like that. So just like, I would say the best advice I can give is to really just pay attention to your body and honor your body and listen to your body, because I've spent so many years, especially early in my career when I was just young and stubborn and determined, I'd ignore my body and just train. And in the short term, I think it's okay, and it's like proves that you're mentally strong and stuff. But in the long term, again, fighting's not forever. It could cause some long-term problems that last long after you're done fighting. So just be very aware of your body and listen to it, and just take care of it as naturally as possible.
And it's never an easy thing to do because you want to push yourself 100%. I'm always going to hit 100%. I'm going to do 110%, but you got to listen to your body when it's telling you to. It's okay to take a step back is basically what you're saying, correct?
Yeah, I mean, there's a time to push it, no doubt.
Hmm.
But there's also time to, really acknowledge what your body's trying to tell you and honor that.
Oh, absolutely. No, that makes a lot of sense. You do quite a bit of media. You've done some media in the past. What questions are you absolutely sick of being asked?
That's a really good question. That's the first time anyone's ever asked me that. I'm just excited about that. Just like those general generic questions, like you obviously have done your research before this interview, but it's like, how did you get started?
Yeah.
Like what got you into fighting? Um, how are you feeling before the fight? Like, I'm about to fight. How do you think I'm feeling?
Yeah. I'm
if I'm
cutting weight. I'm
if I'm
sick of
feeling
this.
sad, do you think I'm gonna tell you? No. Like,
That's the thing of interviewing fighters. There's almost no value in asking about a fight before the fight happens. Like, let's talk about you personally, but about the fight, like, you know what I mean? Like, we know the
you're
answers, you
gonna get
know?
better stock answers because they're on just autopilot. And um yeah, I'm trying to think of the other ones. Those are just the ones that came up like off the top because they're the most common and just general. And I'm like, you didn't do any research.
You know what question you get a lot, and like I do a lot of research. Other female fighters don't get this question, but you get this question asked a lot when people are like, "Hey, so you're single?" And you're like, shut the hell up. How's that an interview question?
I know.
You know what I mean? What the hell's wrong with you?
I don't know.
I don't know why people ask that one.
I don't know. People, I don't know. They like to know. I mean, when it comes to that, like I keep it pretty, personal. Like my private life, I try to keep it my private life. But
Exactly. Now, speaking of which, I did want to ask you feel at home in the gym. You're traveling around a little bit. You've spent time. You've lived in California. You lived in Bali. You've lived in the Netherlands, as you are right now. Where feels like home to you?
it's hard because like whenever I like these places that I've gone to, I've connected with so many wonderful people, and I like to connect with the nature in the place where I am, and um, I could make a home, within just all those good feelings and love and stuff. And when I move to somewhere else, it's hard to leave that, but then I get to the new place and I'm grateful that I'm able to do the same thing. But um it's hard to feel like there's really one home when I leave a little piece of my heart in every place that that I've gone. But after going home, like being home recently in California, I mean, that's home.
California's home for you. Absolutely love
California
Dickie.
home. Yeah.
And it's a beautiful place that you're from as well. It's a beautiful place. But I do want to ask, you are actually out here making striking arts into literal art. And I'm going to put the link down below for everybody so they can check this out. But it's Tiffany Timebomb art. A striking canvas with paint on your knuckles and shins and knees. And it's super cool. But tell people a little bit, like, where did this idea come from? And tell us everything about this.
So the idea I had like probably 8 years ago. Um, and it was based off of started with my footwork. Like, those old books where there's like dancing instructions, but the feet prints are like drawn out like a step by step.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to see like what my footwork would look like kind of in that form, or what lines it would draw out, like to see my paths of motion, and or if there's any geometrical shapes or patterns that formed. But before I could even do it with my feet, I also thought about what it would look like with my strikes, because when I fight, I kind of see like colors for openings, or if I land something, I see like a weird flash of light where it just landed. And I wanted to see what that looked like imprinted, like frozen. And then I also just wanted to see what, like, from there the ideas just started like going and going, like, okay, let's do this combo, jab cross hook 100 times and see what that looks like in like art form, see what marks it leaves and or patterns. Or I mean, it just spiraled and spiraled into just finding all these different ways to express myself through my physicality. To I can make portraits. I can look at a picture and make a portrait. Just and it helps me practice my accuracy and stuff too with the kicks and punches. So I mean, it's what started as just curiosity, you know, wanting to see what my expression looked like frozen, because in movement it's you're moving and it's done and it's over, but I wanted to capture it. And from there it just kept going and going. This is one actually. I'm sitting underneath it.
Right. Look how cool it's such a cool idea. That is beautiful. How awesome is that? So it was this one in particular against a heavy bag. What combo are we throwing in that one?
This one, yeah, I wrapped it around the heavy bag. I wrapped the canvas around the heavy bag. That's a knee, I know for sure.
Yeah.
That's a kick. Yeah, I know the combo. I know there's two different combos I think I used on that one. And then the colors are kind of like a green and purple and brown, like bruisey colors.
Bruising colors. Yep.
But like more
Absolutely.
vibrant and bright. So you got me nerding out on it now. I just
No, it's awesome to see. It's really cool. Were you into painting before? Like, were you doing brush strokes before and you were like, oh, this sucks. I wish I was punching something.
No. I just wanted to do this.
Does it feel, because I know that you've talked about a lot of social anxiety in the past and suffering from mental health. Does this feel very expressive and you get to release some of that tension?
Yeah, definitely. I get to release tension. I get to express myself. You know, I've done one called frustration where I was really frustrated. And so I didn't think, I just hit the bag. I would put the paint on my fists and my shins and I would just go and throw it. And I wanted to see if like the emotion that I felt would somehow show itself in the painting through the movements, through the colors. So yeah, it's been a great way to express myself. It's been a great way to just be creative, stress reliever. Doesn't really cause too much stress, except for when I get a little neurotic about some of the paintings, like the details and stuff. But other than that, it's been great.
And it's super cool. And I'll put the links down below so everyone can enjoy it. You can own a piece of striking art from a world champion. Like it, if you're a fan of fighting, it doesn't get cooler than that one there. And I wanted to ask as well, you were working on the Fighter's Mentality operating system. Now I'm curious what this is. Tell us a little bit more and where can the folks find this?
Yeah, so the Fighter's Mentality is an online course that I created. You can find it at defenseclub.com. I think /Fighters Mentality. The link for it. Yeah, thank you. So a friend of mine that we went to high school together, she went on to become a superstar softball national champion. She created this platform called Defense Club to support her athletes, the athletes that she coached and other softball athletes coming up, on the mental side of competing and training. And she asked me to do an interview for one of her courses. And then based off of the things that we talked about, she was like, have you ever thought about writing a mental course, like on how to, and I was like, no, but that's a great idea. So, you know, and with, there's so many people who do technique tutorials, which is, I'm going to do eventually also, but I thought how cool for this opportunity to give something to the combat sports world that hasn't really been done before. And the mental aspects of training and fighting are so important. And, you know, over the course of my career, I've worked with different sports psychologists. I've gone through my own trials and errors on how to get into my zone. And so basically the course is a decade's worth of everything that I've learned to get my mental game to where it is. And I put it into a course with, there's videos, there's like YouTube videos, I'm doing videos where I'm talking and demonstrating things. It's got everything. It talks about breathing techniques. It talks about how to use affirmations. It gives you little training tools, how to stay super focused and on point in training. And even a nutritional guide for brain optimization. So all the foods and supplements that you can take to help. Basically, the premise is to keep your mind calm and clear so that you can compete or train in that zone at a high level without any distractions of outside stimulus or your own mind, or, you know, because your mind is your best weapon. So basically, it's a course that just helps you sharpen that.
this is really interesting because athletes of all levels, even people at the highest, like MLB players and NFL players, have struggled mentally. So this is a piece of advice coming from a world champion, trying to tell them, like, here's what worked for me. A lot of fighters I know have suffered in the past from a lot of anxiety outside the cage, and just in life in general can be quite stressful. But a lot of fighters tell me that they find peace in the ring. Is that something that you relate to, that when you're actually in the ring, like, now everything's okay, I'm at home here?
Everything goes quiet when I'm in there. I just enter, I get on this different frequency where I can hear, like, my senses are super, super heightened. Everything is in slow motion, but hyper speed at the same time. Like, the air around me feels different. But while there's so much chaos essentially going on, it's like I'm at peace because I'm just in a different flow state. I'm in a different dimension almost. It feels like.
And that's the thing with, like, fighters' mentality is such a complex thing, and this is what you're covering in this course of how is a fist fight that peaceful. But this is some of the stuff that you've uncovered through your years of fights and years of training, correct?
Yeah, definitely. It's on how to stay calm and cool, like, in competition, right? How to prepare yourself for the competition. So, like, because I know for myself and a lot of other fighters and athletes in general, like, the moments leading up to the big game or the big fight or whatever are nerve wracking, and you expend so much energy just dealing with those nerves. And with the course, I've given you the tools to help just keep it cool, keep it calm, and get into that flow state.
It's really cool, and I'll have the link down below for everybody. But when we booked this interview, I was so excited because I'm never sure what to wear in interviews. I own like 2 shirts, but finally I can wear the correct shirt for this interview.
Nice.
So I looked on Instagram. You're following some amazing artists that I absolutely love. You follow, like, Wu Tang Clan, Nas, Erykah Badu. There's a few others in there like that. What were some of your formative musicians that you liked, and then what's on a Tiffany playlist today?
Yeah, I grew up listening to everything. I've always been a bit all over the place, but yeah, I really love that old school hip hop. I love words. I love when they rhyme. There's just something about that makes my brain really happy. So that was always a lot of reggae. Now I started listening to a lot more classical music, and
Really?
yeah, just like classical piano music, like Chopin, and just there's a classical chill out playlist on Spotify that I like. It's got like Rio P, and it's just really soothing. I don't know. So I'll go from that. I'll go back to the hip hop. I like a little bit of another playlist I started listening to recently is called Beats and Flutes. So it's like wood flutes, but it's got like tribal drums.
Oh.
And I like listening to that while I run. And but yeah, then I've got like my guilty pleasures on there, like my Mariah Carey, Celine Dion. Like, I'm all over the place. It just depends on the day and my mood and what I'm getting ready to do.
So I know you got a lot of cool music. We're talking like classical. We're talking some amazing stuff with wood flutes. We're talking some Nas, some Wu Tang. What's the music that you like, or the artist that you like that you would never tell anybody? And I'll tell you mine if you tell me yours.
You know what? Recently I started listening to Miley Cyrus, and I was like, this is actually kind of good.
This is good.
Yeah.
I'm similar to you. I love like the classics, Nas, Wu Tang, stuff like this. But I really like Carly Rae Jepsen.
Okay.
I'll stand by that. Call Me Maybe was the height of music. It didn't get better than Call Me Maybe.
Oh my God. Now that you just mentioned that song, it's going to be stuck in my head for like years.
But if you are talking to a person who's maybe a little bit younger than you and I, where should someone start in their Wu Tang Clan journey? Do you say start right at the first album or at some of their later stuff? Where do you recommend people start there?
I don't think there's any wrong place to start with Wu Tang.
Yeah, I can agree with that. That's absolutely a great answer there. Now, right now, celebrity YouTube boxing is kind of the trend. People are calling out influencers or other celebrities for these kind of boxing matches. If you were to call out some influencer or celebrity for a boxing match, who would you want to call out? Maybe Miley, for example.
Would I fight Miley Cyrus?
Maybe Miley Cyrus. Or is there somebody else?
Shoot me down. I don't know. A long time ago, I said that I wanted to kick Kim Kardashian in the neck.
She might be up for it. She's into that kind of like, this is a way to make money.
Whoever wants to make money, I'm down. We don't have to like hate each other too much, but I mean, that's what the people want to see. Yeah, we'll just keep it with Kim Kardashian.
Awesome. I'll call her up right now. We'll see if we can get this organized after the Belgium event here. When you were coming up, getting into martial arts, what fighters most inspired you, whether from MMA or kickboxing?
From MMA, I was actually I watch a lot of MMA. I'm really into it. Like when I was younger, especially, I was really into it. I really like Jose Aldo, because Brandon Vera, like all the Muay Thai guys who were killing it in the UFC in the early days. I was super into that. But as far as kickboxing goes, I mean, the old school guys, Ramon Deckers and Rob Kamen, Tyrone Spong.
Of course.
And from those days, like everyone, just Ernesto Hoost.
Mr. Perfect, of course.
Yeah.
There's a handful of people from that golden age of kickboxing, like Ernesto Hoost and Remy Bonyaski and Peter Arts, where it's just these
Andy
people.
Risky is also one to name. He was a killer. He knocked out Van Roosmalen and Petrosian in the same night. I don't think people remember that. that's crazy.
Yeah, like there's some absolutely amazing people to check out in kickboxing. It's had quite an amazing history. Do you think kickboxing stateside in the US has a chance to grow? Like we've had some good opportunities on Spike TV and others, but do you think kickboxing can have a future in the United States?
I think a few things just have to be put in place or have to happen, because the sport itself, the pace, the knockout rate, it's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, still, it hasn't really broken onto the mainstream. And knowing the American demographic and the fans and what they like, there's a reason why WWE is so huge, right? It's just a big drama fest, right? There's all these characters. And then you got guys like Conor McGregor coming in for the last 5 years or whatever, stealing the show just with his antics, his personalities, and backing it up in the ring or in the cage for the most part. I think it's really just going to take one or two just characters to come out and start acting silly and do something that gets that type of attention, because I don't know, for some reason in America, if you're not, I mean, it seems like that way in combat sports in general these days, if you're not acting a fool or doing something outrageous or, just talking mad shit and stirring stuff, nobody really pays attention, even if you're really, really good.
Yeah, it's a weird thing where I guess it was always this way, but someone who talks more than has more accolades, like someone like Sugar Sean O'Malley is more popular than someone like Jose Aldo, who is one of the greatest featherweights of all time, right? It's kind of just the era that we're fighting in right now. But yeah, it took Ronda Rousey to get women's fighting on the mainstream. It took Chuck Liddell, some real colorful people to get fighting in the mainstream. But yeah, we'll see if there's a good future American in maybe it's you. You're just gonna turn heel.
See, I think about it, and I have a crazy side. I got some. I don't know, if provoked, I guess I can do that. But at the core of me, that's just not my thing. I can talk shit to somebody and then feel bad about it after. Be like, oh, I'm sorry I said that.
Well, striking sports at its core is still martial arts. The stuff that you learned when you were young in karate about honor and respect, that doesn't really work with trash talk and stuff like that. And you're still closer to the martial arts side. Yes. More
so. I mean, I know you have to stay up with the times, and be modern and stuff. But yeah, at the core, it's super traditional. And training with Lucian here, I've gone so far back to way more traditional in the last couple of years under his tutelage, and I'm absolutely loving it. I feel like I'm living my own real life Karate Kid movie, and he's my Mr. Miyagi.
This is the coolest. This is so exciting. One more question for you, and then we'll lead on out of here. But a lot of fighters have signature brands, signature whiskey, signature tequila, signature hot sauces. If there was a Tiffany van Soest signature brand, what would the signature brand be?
That's a good question. I don't know. I mean, I have shirts. I have a book that I've written. I mean, I've got merch.
You got art?
I got art.
Yeah.
So I don't think I need, I think I'm good.
It's out there already. No time bombs. What about like a Ninja Turtle themed, like you get in the comic books with Ninja Turtles or something like that?
I don't know.
Something like that, right? So
Yeah.
you are fighting at Glory 80, March 19th against the RISE champion, Manazo Kobayashi. She is Tiffany, the Time Bomb van Soest, the Super Bantamweight champion from Glory. My name is Tim Wheaton with MMA Sucka. Tiffany, you get the last word here. Where can the people find more of you? Shout out whoever you need to shout out. Talk us on out of here.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was a pleasure. Awesome interview, by the way. So really enjoyed it. But yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Tiffany Timebomb. Check out my art is Tiffany Timebomb_art. My website will be done within the next 2 weeks, where you can actually go on, check out my art, read the stories behind each painting, and there's a shop where you can actually purchase it if you're interested. Shout out to my team here in Amsterdam at the Belmar, to my coach, Lucian Carbin, and just to my family, my friends. I feel so much support. And the trip back home, like, I've just felt so much love. And so, I mean, I can't list person after person after person because I would definitely forget some people. But to anybody and everybody who's watching, just thank you so much for all of your love and your support. And just really looking forward to getting in there and putting on a show for you guys.
Thank you so much for your time.